Hello, 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 and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive breaking news, previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between. I am your host, James J. Joining me tonight, Kaliko Yachts.
What is up, people? How are things out there? I hope everybody's doing great. Not catching Rona or not fighting the police.
Right, and Mitch Mayhem might be joining us a little bit later. Scooter Dust will not.
Oh, I get it. New York kids. I've been there.
Yeah, busy with that New York life.
Hey, man.
It
It's
is
the lifestyle.
it is not a great day for wrestling as Mr. Wrestling 2 died earlier in this week. Another bad wrestling that um hopefully that's the last one for some time.
Yeah, but it just seems 2020 has just been full of I guess because we're in the house and we just starting to now go back outside, but 2020, man, 2020 deaths have just been it's
Right.
just
You have any
so
experience watching Mr. Wrestling 2?
mainly back when I was younger, not to where I have the fondest of memories, because back then it was just in the 80s it was everything Hulk Hogan and much so unless you were in the older demographic and you could relate, but I know he was a central part based on the history that I've read about from David Schumacher about people. And if you don't like him, man, he's a good journalist and wrestling historian. So,
And of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to the friends and family.
oh yeah,
On another bizarre note, a couple days ago, Paul Heyman was fired from his creative officer job, uh, and Bruce Pritchard replaced him as the lead for both Raw and SmackDown. I should say that WWE Vince McMahon has decided to merge the creative teams of Raw and SmackDown into one. Bruce Pritchard will be leading. Paul Heyman will be an on-screen talent only. Uh, this is one year after Paul Heyman was announced. He made it longer than Eric Bischoff. So, what do you think about this news, Kaliko?
it's perplexing. I mean, I, I, the only thing I could think of that it would even go this way is if Vince sees the ratings and he's wanting to make a change. That's the only thing give the benefit of the doubt, if you will. But even then, it's very hard for me to give that benefit of the doubt, especially when there's rumblings of the talent being concerned about Paul Heyman being removed.
Right, because
Um,
he's been given opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like I said before, the best ability is availability, and everybody who's available was going to get a shot. Um, this makes me wonder what's going to happen with a Bobby Lashley because Heyman was really big on Lashley, and it seemed like that they were trying to build towards that Lashley Taker match, or not like Taker, but Lashley
Lesnar.
Brock match
Yep.
that people just been clamoring for the longest. So it's gonna be, yeah, man. It's weird. It's really weird.
Obviously from a talent standpoint, this isn't good because Paul Heyman's been giving opportunities that maybe people that Vince McMahon wouldn't have given opportunities to.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hands down. Hands down. I mean, would a Austin Theory be praised as much? I mean, possibly. Uh, and that's the one thing. Paul, for what everybody say about him, he knows how to put people in the right position. So,
What?
and
Uh,
and to that is gift.
a little bit of funny news. This coming out yesterday. Howard Stern was talking about wrestling and how Goldust was one of his favorite wrestlers. When he asked, what is Goldust doing right now, one of his co-hosts or somebody replied, he's in a backyard wrestling league.
Wow. I mean, he ain't wrong if you saw what happened with AEW this past Wednesday. I mean, it's it's one of those things, man. And that's not me even dissing. I can't be ditching AEW, didn't like that. But to me, it's just jokes. Maybe let's hope it's just jokes, and it don't get all personal and people.
Well, it didn't seem like, because Goldust, Dustin Rhodes, replied and he said, come check us out. Come watch AEW wrestling. I highly doubt Howard Stern's going to do that. Um, but it just shows you that AEW, where AEW is in the demographic right now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Or at least how they're perceived.
Well, the demo is more college. Well, they're trying to get the adult fan who's been felt disenfranchised by the WWE. Like that's not every demographic
The
that
Mitch
every
Mayhems of
wrestling
the
fan's
world.
been going. Right, but you got to think that demographic only goes so long because that demographic's like our dads now. So that demographic TNA went after like 15 years ago. Those are fathers. Like I would know, I'm a father, but
Right.
those dudes are kids. Those dudes got kids. Those dudes got kids, so they're gonna go with wrestling where it's more globally known, two, more likely to come in their city, three, more kid friendly. That's the whole point. It's
Uh,
always
a,
a cycle.
a great piece of news coming out this week. New Japan to start running shows again, starting on Monday.
And me and you have been salivating on this one for the longest.
Oh
And
yeah.
there, and the one thing it is like it's going with the New Japan Cup, and I'm like, oh my God. I've seen that bracket. Oh my goodness. It's like, and you get in, and you get in, and you
Well,
get in.
well, like you said earlier, it's availability,
Yeah.
and we're
And
talking a little bit more about that tournament in a couple minutes.
oh
But
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We gotta talk about that tournament.
yeah,
Because it's
we
it's interesting. It's interesting the way it's set up.
we have the show from the 15th of June to the 11th of July. They will be running no crowd matches. And then on the 15th and I believe it's the 15th and 16th of July. Actually, no, the 11th and 12th of July. They are going to be running Dominion in front of a live crowd at Osaka-jo Hall. This has to piss Vince McMahon off that New Japan will be the first wrestling company to be running a live event with crowds again, right?
I can't. I can say yes, but I could say no because the way that Japan handled the coronavirus is night and day from the way the United States handled it. So therefore, they're not in a big dire situation like you know America is.
But that's also sort of the Calico son. Um, that's
Yeah,
also
of course, can't have it without them.
right, and it's a main. If New Japan wasn't a mainstream company as it is like right now, because New Japan's the second largest wrestling company right now. AEW is a distant third, just how it is. Um, but
A distant third. Oh, way distant third.
and that just is by experience, I would say. They're only a year
I mean,
old. Um,
branding and recognition. So, I
right.
mean, to be quite honest, on a global front, and AEW is not even there yet. Let's just be honest. And to be quite honest, hell, Impact is more known globally. I can make the argument Impact is more known more globally and has more global shows than AEW. Uh, but
I
I
agree with
digress.
that.
But you're right. New Japan and it's basically the two big dogs, New Japan and WWE.
So you have the second biggest wrestling company in the world right now running a live audience before you do. In that sense, I would, pandemic or no pandemic, that's going to light a fire up Vince McMahon's ass, considering that they've been targeting September, October for to start running crowds again.
Well, but the thing that Japan has over America is basically have it's basically one federal law and 50 states that has their own laws. So like when it comes to this reopening, there's no like one set guideline for all the states to follow, and it's called what I call it is like the 50 state experiment. Every state is doing things differently based on how they are, you know. So that's where WWE is going to be at a disadvantage. I mean, Japan is not like they have 50 states. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just basically one big country. They have one guideline, and everybody follows that guideline. Vice, you know, here we have this thing called states' rights, and it's basically up to governors to decide how they run their state.
Right. So, like, uh, Orlando and Florida is going to be different than New York or California or
Yeah,
Texas.
yeah, Orlando's in Florida, so
Yeah.
Florida is going to be different than Texas. It's going to be different than California, which is going to be different than like prime example. Uh, Georgia was the first state to really like get on the head of reopening. Florida was right around the second. New York is just now starting phase one in New York City. And that makes sense because New York City was the hardest hit state. So
Right.
it's what, or New York City was the hardest hit city. That was pretty much the epicenter. So basically, it just depends on how they're, how each state and each city and each district really moves. So, I mean, that's not WWE's fault because if they had their way, they would have been did it now. But they're beholden to governors and that's all they can do. They can only run what they run.
It's going to be interesting to cover. We will have all things New Japan Cup in our main event tonight, and we will have a preview of Backlash as well.